Join me in Facebook and YouTube Live. And thanks as always to the sponsors, Cornerstone Business Solutions, Galaxy Blinds, Advanced Utility Solutions, Smith & Friends Estate Agents, Cleveland Systems Engineering, Dovecot, and TGM Cars. Last night we were looking to make it 8 games in the bounce without defeat. The team to try and achieve that was Saul Brennan goal. For the first time this season, we played a back four rather than 3 centre backs. So rather than 5 at the back, we played a flat back four. Brim was in goal, Taggart nailing the full backs, Edmondson and Jones the centre backs. 3 in midfield was Morris, Brown, and Hackney, and the 3 interchanging up front was Conway, Strellick, and Nepan. On the bench was Fry, Seni, Silvera, Hansen, Kanté, Berzog, McLaughlin, Whittaker, and Banguera. Yeah, looking at the game itself, Borough started, I thought we started ever so brightly. Unlike Saturday, we'd one chance on Saturday and we scored it against Southampton. We went at them from the off. We passed it around well. We created several chances. Strellick had a great effort. Luke Desham's top right-hand corner. The keeper made a great save, and there was 1 or 2 other shots. Their keeper came to the rescue. But the first half, we were the better team. I don't think anybody would argue that. And then, obviously, we get an injury. Edmondson get injured. So we had to change the dynamics of the back four. Ayling, he tucked in one. Silvera come on to replace him on the right back position. Second half, we looked fragile. We looked... we didn't look in control. They looked at times as if they had an extra man. I don't know what they had at half-time and what we had at half-time, but they came out a different animal, different outfit. And it was, for me, it was total domination. And but for the goalkeeper, our goalkeeper, Big Saul Bryn, we could have quite easily lost a goal. You know, he'd about 2 or 3 great saves, what I would call great saves. Obviously, a section of the Borough fans pointed at referee, says he had a nightmare. Referee, I don't really concentrate on referees. Referee can't score you a goal. He can disallow a goal, or the VAR can, but we've not got VAR. And obviously, the talking point of the night, and a lot of frustrated Borough fans pointed at Conway, saying that it was a penalty. When I've seen it firsthand, it was a penalty. In my opinion, it was a penalty. But we've no VAR, and I've not seen it again on TV. So I thought it was a penalty. Referee got it wrong, but if there's no VAR, then he's seen it one snap and he's given his decision. But I'll be honest, Conway does like a dive. Conway dived last season. If it was a foreign player, we'd be wanting him hung drawn and quartered because he's cheating. They blame the foreign player. If it was a foreign player, they would blame, oh, the foreigners dive. They always dive. Well, maybe some of his class Conway is foreign because he's Scottish international. But he does dive, and he's got a record of diving and a history of diving. I've seen it firsthand. I watch every Borough game. If I was his pal or his agent or his manager, I'd be saying, listen, concentrate more on getting shots off rather than diving and faking it. I'm not saying he faked it last night, but he has done. And there'll be a reputation. I know it. I watch the Borough all the time. And if you're an honest Borough fan, you will say he likes a dive. He likes confrontation. He likes in people's faces. But concentrate more on scoring goals. I mean, Conway, his work rate's phenomenal. But the diving I don't like. It's called cheating. Last night, I thought it was a penalty. But previous ones, no way is it penalties. But he's looking and trying his best. So I would say, if I had any advice for Conway, it would stay on your feet. He covers everything to the park on his backside. He does it with his feet as well, but on his backside, you watch how many times Conway goes to the ground, brushed aside, wind blows him over, looking for fouls, free kick. Not good enough. It's called cheating. Foreign players get classed as cheaters. And because he's one of our players, we'll just, oh, it doesn't matter, he can do what he wants. No, it's not right. Anyway, was it a penalty? I thought it was in the night. I've not seen it again. And obviously the referee gets one viewing like ourselves when we're at the game. So can we blame the referee because of the second half performance? No, that was down to us. No, we went really poor, but we never get in it. Stoke with a better team, but our points are, look, away points are great points. Home points, you don't want too many home points. You don't want too many draws at home. Every away point you pick up, brilliant. Saturday, Southampton, great point. Especially lost a goal and we kept digging and getting it back. Last night, kept a clean sheet. 2 best defences in the division, us and Stoke. If you're a betting man, which I'm not, a gambling man, you'd have probably said it was going to be a draw. And that's exactly how it turned out. So the draw, that's what happened. And I think Stoke, well, we're still delighted because we're intact. You know, their away record's still, well, the away record, the win record is still there, that we're still top of the league. Now 3 draws. That's the thing about the 3-point system. Obviously, we know that it was introduced years ago to encourage teams, rather than go for a draw, to go for the win. Because, yeah, but anyway, well done, Borough. It was a point. Could have quite easily not been, but for Saul Bryn's heroics. So, but well done, Saul Bryn. If he didn't get man of the match, I don't know who gives man of the match these days, but he was my man of the match by a million miles. Well, tonight there's games on. Obviously, it's a different time. Last night, the time again, it's too late. I would do it, but it's unfair people going to work or who are lucky enough to have a job, getting up early. But tonight there's big games. Portsmouth, who we play on Saturday, they're struggling. They've not had a great start of the season. They play Watford tonight, and they've only won 2 games in 7. So we must fancy our chances getting in there on Saturday. Are down there. Coventry, they're away at Millwall. Frank Lampard's Coventry. A victory tonight, and they would go 2 points behind us. So keep my eyes on that one. A win for Millwall. They would go 4 points behind us. West Brom also in action tonight. They're away at Norwich, and they could go 4 points behind us with a victory. But it's all ifs, buts and maybes. We concentrate ourselves. We're Middlesbrough. We've had a fantastic start. 8 games unbeaten. Hey, that's a great start. As I say, we don't want too many draws at home. Every away point, we'll grasp it, we'll cherish it. But at home, we want to keep grinding out the wins. Last night, we're playing a top of the league team who's probably on a par with us. And both teams settled for a point. Gary Samantha Williams says there's a good right back and a good left winger, and that we come and unstuck Bernie. We have no decent left winger. All down the right passes, back to the keeper, started to create in, but a good point in the end, better than the defeat. Yeah, that's true. There's a wee bit of the old keeping the ball going nowhere. Kicked in last night. But I thought Strelick's contribution, still settling in. Hey, let's give the guy 10. He wasn't in it Saturday. He wasn't in it last night. His contribution was that shot. It was a great effort. Keeper saved it, parried or whatever. Conway, runabout, as he always does, worked his backside off, wasn't in it. Can't remember him testing the goalkeeper. Nipan, nice touches, dipped in and out the game. So the forward players, for me, didn't really get into it. Didn't make a real statement of intent. We started off, as I mentioned at the top, we started off with a flat back 4, but then we brought Dale Fry in and we went back to the old 3 centre-backs and wing-backs. My issue with the wing-backs, obviously Britain was a loss because Britain's done well, but I still don't think when we go back, and I'm sure we will go back to the 3 centre-backs and wing-backs, the wing-backs have to do more on the attacking front. They're meant to be the creators, the providers for the front men. And the front men like Strelick and Conway and co, they're working the backsides off and not getting the rewards that really they're looking for or maybe deserve at times. You know, Nipan, I think he'll be a creative player. I think once the lad settles in, he'll be a handful. As I say, he dipped in and out last night. Matt Waters says, evening Bernie, evening Matt. Back to a bit of tippy-tappy football. Yeah, it crept in, it did. And there was a wee bit of frustration for the fans. 1 or 2 was venting, oh, come on, and boo. You know, there's a wee bit at half-time and full-time. I don't really get that because, you know, we're unbeaten, but it's just the standards were set are so high. There's an expectation there, and it's how the players deal with the expectation. Back to a bit of tippy-tappy football. It's starting to creep back in. Saul Bryn did really well. Mad how we were knackered in the second half. We'd like to see Strelick behind a striker. So who do we play up front? You know, Strelick and Nipan and Conway were interchanging, but I think in the main it's Strelick up top, but not getting into it. As I say, I'm sure we will go back to 3 centre-backs in the main. We've played it the majority of the season. Last night was the first time I've really seen us going flat back 4 from the off. When I see Ailing on the right, I'm thinking, dear me, if a Swede winger comes up. But anyway, he only ended up moving into the middle because of the injury. And another centre-half injured. That's about 2 or 3 centre-halves and a full-back, a wing-back. I agree 100%. Bernie needs to stay on his feet. No danger to the opposition on his backside. Saul kept his in the second half. He did. Saul put off about 2 great saves. One the lad should have scored on, he missed it, but Saul, fantastic. And he was man of the match by a mile last night. But as I say, Conway, I'm not digging him out, but what I'm saying is, stay on your feet. You cover every inch of the park in your ass. Stay on your feet. It's called balance. You don't have to dive at every opportunity. You don't have to go to ground every time somebody shoulder charges you. Stay on your feet. It's a weakness. Last night, he must have been knackered getting up off the ground. It's a hard gig, that. Knock to the ground, you get up. Knock to the ground, you get up. Stay on your feet. Stonewall penalty for Middlesbrough last night, Bernie. So Daniel Jones is telling me, in no uncertain terms, I might have seen it again or a few times, I've not, that it was a definite penalty. And Keith Short says the defensive injuries are starting to stack up. I've just mentioned that. Shaw was definitely man of the match. Need to be more ruthless up front. Let some chances pass us by. I don't think you blame Strelic. Gets in good positions, but we don't give him the ball. The chance he had, he made himself. He did. So the chance was, it was similar to the international goal against Germany when he cut in for the right, beat a couple of men and curled it. He knew what he wanted to do. He wanted to curl it top right-hand corner, but didn't get enough on it. But it was a good bit of skill and obviously good vision, and he knew exactly where he was putting it. He was doing it with accuracy as opposed to power. It was accuracy, but it was a good save. But yeah, I think the strikers, when they're working the backsides off so hard and running here, there, and everywhere, they need the service. And if they're not getting it, they need to start rollicking the wing backs in the main. Obviously, the 2 central midfielders, Morris and Hackney. And I'll be honest, I think the last 2 games, they've huffed and puffed as well. I mean, Morris got the hook last night, maybe feeling a bit of fatigue. But those 2 have been very, very good this season and contributed in massive ways and productive ways. But they need to create a bit more for the front guys. Because when we go back to the wing backs, not everybody's going to be like Giles, who we had, no second time around, first time around. He was laying them on a plate. But the wing backs are the main source. But if you're an opposing coach or manager, surely you would look at Middlesbrough and think, right, the biggest outlet they've got to wing backs. Are the wing backs good enough? Well, we make sure we block them off because they're not going to get any service into these guys. And the other thing we've not got is height. When the ball gets played in, if the wing backs do get the ball in, it needs to be a certain kind of service. You know, when you get the ball, you put a name on the ball, but you can't just hoof it because there's nobody with any height to go up and win it and challenge. They had height last night. They had a couple of big lads. Bernie, you okay, pal? Mohammed, hi, Mohammed. We should have had the penalty. At least we didn't lose the game. Stoke second half were strong. I mean, I watched Stoke first half. I thought we were good first half. We created chances, a lot more than we did against Southampton, and that was pleasing in the eye. Just disappointment at half time, not scoring a goal. But I thought Stoke City were a bit average. But the second half, they came out and there was a guy there, don't know his name, like a Chinese lad, number 10. What a great player he was. He controlled everything in that midfield area. He was dropping deep. He was getting turned. He was playing 1-2s. He was zipping it left and right. He was giving support. He was some player. Think the boos were for the ref. Yeah, Helen, I agree with that as well. I did say, I think there was a few rumblings because certain things happening, not as good or passing wasn't as crisp or, but yeah, the referee, I'm sure it was the majority of the boos were for the referee. But as I say, referees have off days. We done off second half, but we still got a point. Tackle was right in front of us. It would have been a very soft penalty. So there's Andrew Clark. I think, well, if he's there, I'm sure he's a Borough fan, and he's saying it would have been very soft. As I say, I'm not seeing it again. What I'm going to do, I've been busy today. I'm going to watch it, and then on Saturday, I know it's all tat and it's gone by that time, but I'll give my honest opinion. I'll see it again and think, right, okay, that was a definite penalty, or wasn't. But that's one of the downsides of no VR in the Championship. Paul Gamble says, clean sheet, still undefeated, need to banish the front and park. hoodoo, going 2-1 for the Borough on Saturday. Any memories yourself against Pompey? Oh, I scored down there against Pompey. I've scored there, and we've won there. So that's my memories there. I remember Big Ian Baird, who came on, became my striking partner at Middlesbrough. He's a big, strong, aggressive man. Ian Baird, loved him. Yeah, very good. So he played at Pompey. I don't think he had a great time down there. But Pompey, I remember doing the commentary with the late great Ali Brownlee, and I remember after the game, who was it? Harry Redknapp. He was the manager at the time. He came up and said, "How you doing, Bernie?" And I didn't know he knew me, but anyway. So yeah, I just remember my biggest memory of down there is it's a long way. We used to go in horse and cart. No, we didn't fly down like modern day players. You know what I mean? Sleep under a hedge rather than 5-star accommodation. The ref was a joke. 2 points dropped. This is for Leslie Coates. 2 points dropped. We should be in front at the break, but we're poor second half. All you hear is we still unbeaten, not good enough. Oh, hey, look. Home draws we accept, but it's not great. We've had 3 draws now and we've lost 6 points out of the last 4 games. So there's a wee bit of doubt creeping in. Oh, hold on a minute, we can't win games here. But as I say, we have to create more for the front men. Going flat back 4, we did create first half. We created 4-5 half decent chances, didn't take any of them. You know, that'll be an issue if that continues. Poor, this is for Kev Naylor. Poor, I thought last night for long spells in the second half, maybe someone like Rudy just would steady the team a little. Kev Naylor. This Kev lad, he's been in tow with me for years on here, and he must love Rudy just steady. His bedroom must be surrounded with page 3 buds and Rudy just stead. That is a real concern, Kev. Leslie Coates says Stonewall. Where was it? Stonewall won Take My Word, so he's saying it was Stonewall. But Leslie wears the big bottle glasses. I wouldn't believe it. Leslie says. James Mills says, "Good evening, Bernie. Referee was a joke." The big Millsy lad saying the ref was a joke. Steve Gourley says, "Evening, Bernie. Still unbeaten. Can't beat that. Up the effing Borough." The F means flipping, by the way. Evening, Bernie. Still unbeaten. Can't beat that. Yeah. Keith Short says, "I thought it was a penalty, but I watched it back, and the guy in Sky says he thought it was soft. There is contact, but the Sky guy says there wasn't enough in it for a penalty, but also says that he shouldn't have got a yellow card. Surely, if there is contact, regardless of how much, surely it's a pen." Well, if there's contact, you would have to say you think it's a penalty, but there's so many. What was the penalty I seen there? Was it this week or last week? Was it the Arsenal? It was the Arsenal, wasn't it? The Arsenal, the big lad that played against us when he was at Coventry, went to Lisbon, went round the keeper, brought down, no penalty. I thought it was a penalty. And that's with VAR involved. Let's see, did someone say not a penalty? He needs to go to Specsavers. Even Matt Robbins says we got away with that one. But as I say, even when there's VAR involved, we all still argue and say it's a penalty. No, it's not a penalty. No, never a penalty. We still can't agree. Phil Lawton says attackers need time to settle in and can use international break to work on it. They have all different attributes, but for me, Conway is wasted on the left. Well, Conway sort of lost his way a bit. I'm not saying his energy levels are still massive, but as I say, I've got one bit of advice to Conway is stop diving, stop falling to the ground, stop getting blown over with the wind. It's not that, I know it's windy up north, but not as windy as you're portraying. So stay on your feet. Stay on your feet. Yeah, saying attackers need time to settle in and can use it international break to work on it. Well, international break, they can't work on it because of the international duty to international players. So that's one of the downsides. You want international players because they're classed as the best players, but when some of the second string are left behind and the international players go on duty, so you can't really work on the deficiencies. Bernie, at one point, did he make contact with the ball? None up the Borough. So now 8 games without defeat. 3 draws, as I say, out of 4. Not the end of the world, but we don't want to get into that sort of a dip. We want to win and keep grinding out 3 points rather than a point. As I say, there's games on tonight, and 1 or 2 can go 2 or 4 points behind us. Britain was missed last night. I think I mentioned that. But that's Britton, Fry, Lenihan, and Edmondson. All defenders injured. What goes on? I don't get it. Defenders never, very, very seldom get injured when I played. Very seldom. It was always defenders hoofing centre forwards or centre midfielders, giving them it, going over the top, elbowing them. But all our defenders are falling like flies. They did last season, and they're doing it again this season. As I says, when early doors, few wins in, I says, look, the big test comes when the winter comes in, loss of form, injuries, red cards. There's a host of things will come into play. And last night, right away, we get an injury early doors. Stuart says, Bernie, this is the debate that is taken away by VAR. Long may it continue. I agree with that as well, Stuart. I'm not a fan of VAR. VAR, it's meant to help the cause, but it doesn't. It muddies the waters even greater, in my opinion. And it infuriates more people. And the referee having to talk on the pitch, I find it like, it's like Americanized. It's like, I don't like it, to be perfectly honest. And the biggest joke is when the cup competitions come round in England, the VAR will kick in. If Middlesbrough, who have not got VAR in the Championship, played Tottenham Hotspur tomorrow night in the FA Cup or whatever, the VAR kicks in. But if they were playing them at the Riverside, there's no VAR. What's that about? It has to be all or nothing. It can't be half-hogged, depending who you're playing. VAR in for everybody or out. No, if you're supposed to get VAR, which they have, and we have not, why should we go down there and the VAR kicks in? We don't have it at any other stage of the season. I think it's a farce. Would you give Kelly Sani a start? Also, Hansen looks really lively. Or keep them in check to come on as impact subs? Well, they've did so well as impact subs, but I'm sure if you asked the lads, they would want to start the game. And at the minute, like myself, they'll be looking, thinking, hold on a minute, champing at the bit here, I want on. You know, the lads are working hard, but they're not getting the rewards, and they'll be wanting a chance, an opportunity. I don't think they'll be happy sitting there. I think we'll give Conway and Co. Strelick another go on Saturday at Pompey, and let's see what they can do. But I think eventually it will change. I was surprised we started four at the back last night. You know, we did ever so well. Maybe it was something to do with last week, Southampton. We travelled down there and only had one shot on target, and that was a bit of a freak, the deflection over the keeper. Still don't know what their keeper was doing, you know, at Southampton. He never even put up his hands. I'm glad they never put up his hands, but I'd have to question it. Same old faces getting injured. Lenihan, McGree, Edmondson, Fry. None of you lads seem to be picking up injuries. Fair point. Can't argue with that. Bring Daniel Ayala in as a cover. He would love it. Daniel Ayala. I was with a guy the day, and he gave me the shirt. He said, do you want that? It's Daniel Ayala in a frame with a few others. I didn't take them with me, but I said, yeah, I'll have them down the line. But Ayala, I remember Ayala. Good player, good defender. Paul Wilson says, evening, Bernie. Stoke had us on the ropes towards the end of the game. Some of our players looked dead on the feet. Jones could hardly walk at the end. Do you think the fitness levels are good enough? A hard-earned point. I think, well, we're only 8 games in and we've done magnificent and we've worked our backsides off. But you shouldn't be tired and fatigued after 8 games. With all the technology we've got, all the sports scientists and dietitians and psychologists and the best training facilities and the best grass, and we shouldn't be tired. If you're tired being a professional footballer 8 games in, you've got an issue. You know, I've not heard any lads saying that they're struggling with their fitness, but last night they did look heavy-legged, to be fair. As I say, the pitches are like bowling greens. When I didn't play 100 years ago, but I played a while back, but the pitches used to be clogged up. We never made that an excuse. If we made a bad pass, it wasn't because of the pitch, it's because of us. You know, these days there's passes going astray left, right, and centre, and nobody picks it up in it. Good evening, Bernie. We've been lucky. Hold on, Leslie says, We have been lucky when we have drawn, others have drawn, so we kept the gap. But Coventry could pull it to 2 points behind tonight, but hope not. Yeah, I've mentioned that. Andy Connor, hi Andy. Good evening, Bernie. Hope you're well. Stonewall penalty for me too. But as I've said, when you have a reputation like Conway has, and a stinker of a ref like we had, you ain't going to get anything. Great point in the end. Against a very good Stoke City, we're top of the league and still unbeaten. Can't ask for any more up the effing borough. I agree with that as well, Andy. But as I say, Conway, I'm a Conway fan, as in his energy levels, his work rate is amazing. But I think he wastes a lot of his energy moaning, groaning, going to ground, getting up, going to ground, getting up, the odd dive. Not good enough. It's not good enough. He's an international player. He's from this country. We don't dive and cheat in this country. And I've seen last season on this, I've said it in podcasts, that he dives. And he does dive. And if I ever bumped into the kid, I would tell him his face, stop diving, man. As I say, Ronaldo got the tag, oh, Ronaldo, the English hated him, oh, Ronaldo's a cheat, Maradona's a cheat. But we're watching people cheating in their colours. Middlesbrough, we don't have to dive. Last night, possibly a penalty. We never got it, but as I say, as the lad says, if you get a reputation, it's like Vinnie Jones. Vinnie Jones was known as a nut job. I don't think he was a great player, but he was just fairly physical. And he used to over the top or elbowing, and he get that tag, and he was getting booked left, right, and centre. Sometimes he didn't even do it, but his reputation followed him, and that's what's going to happen with Conway. If somebody else, if it was knee plant went down last night, we'd have probably got the penalty. You don't think referees read papers and see reports and talk to each other and say, oh, he dives, he likes a dive, give him a pull, give him a bath, he'd jump in the water, dive in the water. Was surprised Dale Fry was not in the first sub. Ailing should go into right back and Dale in the middle. Oh, goody, yeah, that's, as I say, that's down to Big Rob. And let's be fair to the man, the coach, he hasn't done a lot wrong when it came to substitutions. I thought when he put Dale on last night, that was a wee indication we're going for the point here. I think because he knew we were under the caution and struggling a bit, and he just bolstered it, and we kept a clean sheet. This was a game we might have lost last season. We didn't get beat. Let's keep this going up the borough. That's for Matthew Earnshaw. Ian May says, I can't understand why people are complaining. If we were asked if we could take this position after 8 games, we'd have gave a left. His words, not mine. We'd have gave a left knacker. Yeah, come on. I'm no PC. I'm sure you've established that over the years. As soon as our first loss comes, Edwards will become public anyway, number 1. Our fans are ridiculous. Ian, I just think it's a culture in the modern game now. I listen to national radio, early mornings, late at nights, not during the day, late at nights. And fans are forever moaning. Arteta, get him out, he's rubbish. You lose a game. Big Postecoglou, hopeless. He's only been in the door 2-3 games at Forest and they want his head. The Tottenham lad, he's gone there. Oh, he wins one, he draws one. Oh, is he going to be good? Yeah, it's awful. And obviously everybody's got a say now because of things like this and Twitter and Facebook, and everybody's got an opinion. Some couldn't spell football, but they've got an opinion. Some are faceless, easy to slag and have a go. I don't like to think we as Borough fans slag, but we're giving our opinions on our team. But 8 games in, unbeaten, you couldn't make it up. If you'd have asked me, is this going to happen the opening 8 games, I would have said, no, you're off your head. You need locked up in a padded cell. Never seen it. Rob Edwards, would you want? No. Big Rob's done fantastically well. He's radiant. He's smiley. He's got a bit of personality. Personality's a big thing. You've either got it or you've not. A lot of my mates haven't, actually. I can't stand it. Yeah, so I've read that. Colin Ibbotson, hiya, Colin. That was a hard game with 2 teams that will be at the top fighting it out. We are still unbeaten and we should have had a penalty. So Colin's sitting by the penalty and we're going to be fighting out. I still think there'll be a few... There's a few teams that's just getting in gear now. I still think the likes of Birmingham, I think I'll still wake up and be up there. If they're not in January, they'll probably delve in and spend a few quid. There was talk Wrexham are going to go again. They're going to get another promotion. We'll have to wait and see about that. But Stoke City, I think, will be up there. Southampton, I think they'll wake up. I think there's going to be 8 to 10 teams clamouring for sixth places. People say to me, we're going to get automatic promotion. Well, at the minute, you would say we're the best team in the division because we're at the top. But there's only 38 games now? 38 games left. So keep our powder dry, keep our feet in the ground. The players have to keep their feet in the ground. They say Hackney and Morris, let's hope they're not falling in the trap where, you know, they're listening to the hype and they're getting good press, and deservedly so, but they have to keep their feet firmly in the ground. Don't get carried away. Well, clubs are in for me. Oh, the twos are getting the plaudits. That's all well and good, but it was like when I played, I could score a hat-trick. I wouldn't go overboard because I thought the next 3 games I might not get a touch. I might not get a shot. Next 5 games I might not score. You just keep it. Yeah. Phil Dank says, hi Bernie, if Conway tried to stay up, he probably would have got a penalty or even get a shot away. He's not the answer for me playing up front with Strelic. Well, at the minute it doesn't. What I will say about both of them, don't forget, Strelic's just in the door. Conway's been here last year. He was our top scorer with about 13 goals. I don't think that's a great tally, but it's half decent. But I don't think Conway will ever hit the 20 mark like Akpom, league goals. I did my day. The reason being he works too hard. He's up there on his own and he works his ass off, and he's not got enough energy to put goals away as well. A few weeks ago, I said it on here, he missed a couple of tap-ins because he's blown at his backside, and the time he gets there, he's missed it with a foot. That's one of the downsides of playing that lone furrow and closing down and running here, there and everywhere. In my day, you would say you were a headless chicken. That's what you used to say. I used to... Now and again, I wasn't getting the ball. You would start roaming here, there, and everywhere to get back in the game. And I think that's partly as well. Guys like Conway, because they're not getting a lot of service for the wing backs, or whatever, they're hungry. They're going looking for the ball. And when they're going looking for it, they're going out of position. They're going away for the danger zone. The danger zone's in the last third, not in the halfway line. I've seen Conway getting balls in the halfway line and turning and playing it. And if he gets in the box, he's not in the box. We're the best place we have been for a long time. This is Steve May. Before a ball was kicked this season, Edwards was written off. I agree. I think a lot of people thought he's not the man. VAR needs putting in place throughout the EFL. Stonewall penalty officiating lets the league down massively up the borough. So Steve May saying the VAR. The thing about VAR, when it comes to the playoffs, you know, teams that's in the playoffs, a dodgy decision, you can miss out millions of pounds, miss it in Premier League football because of a yeah. For me, the Championship should have VAR or just scrap the lot. I'd rather scrap the lot, if I'm honest. Andrew Hill says, the referee in last night's game was absolutely a disgrace, and I hope he doesn't referee at the Riverside ever again. Keith Williams says, refs these days are Tommy Tit, rhythmical, Bernie. Listen, referees... Yeah, obviously referees become referees because they're no good at football. But they know the laws of the game. Some of them don't know the game. But the players, a lot of the players don't understand the laws of the game, but know the game. So there's a happy medium there. But referees, I don't think they go out to make bad decisions. Just like a player goes through and goal and you miss it, the goal, you don't deliberately miss it. I don't think any referee goes out because they're professional. And the word professional means you need to be professional. You give what you see. And if there's no VAR, you're going to say instantly, that's not a penalty, or that's a penalty. But referees, in my day, I never really focused on referees. Never get involved with them. As I say, I wasn't anybody that watched me. I wasn't an elbow or ruffling feathers. I was just wanting to play a bit of football and score a few goals. But my mates used to have confrontations with referees. I just used to stay away from them. I can't even remember shaking a referee's hand at the end of the game. Didn't get involved. 1 yellow card I got in my career at Middlesbrough in 8 years. One. I think I was kicking the ball away. Referees is replying to Ian May. Ian May, spot on Ian. Still top to shut up morning. Yeah, replying to Ian May. Ian, yeah, more or less saying shut up morning. Surely we can't be moaning. We're not moaning. I don't think we're moaning. We're moaning at decisions with the referee, but the referee, if the referee was bad for the duration of the game, we didn't perform. We were under par second half of the game. So for 45, 47 minutes, whatever it was, we were under par. We could have quite easily lost that game, but we didn't. Latty Laugh will return on loan in January and will be the difference between automatic promotion or playoffs. You heard it here first. Ian, what are you on? You on some illegal substance, Ian? So Latty Laugh's going to return. Oh, I wouldn't have him back because he left. I don't think it's working out over there. But again, I always say it, we're not a charity club. When players go, they go for a reason. They go for ambition and more money. It's usually the latter. And if it doesn't work out, we've got a habit of bringing them back. Don't want them back. I mean, Giles was a big... I keep getting back to last season when Giles came back. I just couldn't understand it. Crap defence, crap defender, come to a crap defence. It was just insane. Insane. Bringing a player like that back when the defence couldn't defend. The defence has done brilliant this year, and partly it's because, well, with the clean sheet last night playing 4, but in the main we played 3 centre-backs against 1 centre-forward. I say it all the time. And watch it. When you're watching the games, watch your 3 centre-backs. 1 or 2 of them could have cigars. They've only got 1 centre-forward, the majority of teams. We've got 1 centre-forward. The other guys are like number 10s drifting about. Yeah, they interchange, but always there's one up front. In my day, the big guy would go up level with me, or I would just sit just behind him. And when the ball went up, I don't know what all these balloons are. When the ball went up, then I would feed off him. But don't do that now. Don't do that now. What I would like to see when the ball does go over the top, and it did on Saturday against Southampton a lot, over the top, whoever's playing behind, if it's Conway, when the ball's in flight, get on your bike and get right up the straight to whoever's there and help him out. We seem to let it go over our head, watch the flight of the ball, see if we hold it up, and then go. We need to gamble more. That's a good one, Bernie. Only 1 yellow card, one behind Gary Lineker. Yeah, Gary Lineker. He couldn't tackle it, didn't he? No, as I say, talking about cards and decisions, I got 1 yellow card at Middlesbrough in 8 years, and my first game for Port Vale was against Leyton Orient. The guy kicked lumps at me for 45 minutes. In the second half, I'd made a decision. If he does it again, I'm going to give him it. I didn't. I get sent off. My first game for Port Vale. So in my professional career, played 500 and odd games, 600, whatever it is. I was sent off once, and that was my very first game for Port Vale. I'll read a few of these out. We've got a wee bit of time. Let's see. Joe says Solbrin was in top form last night, Bernie. But for his heroics, we could have lost. Oh, I agree with that. As I say, their kit made a few good saves first half. We had a few good efforts, and their kit made a few good saves. But the second half, Solbrin made, there's 3 that comes to my mind. 3 very, very good saves. And I'm sure he'll get man of the match with anybody with an ounce of common sense and football knowledge. He was a star man. There's no ifs or buts. Keith Short says, it's not moaning. Of course, fans are buzzing. We are top of the league and unbeaten in the league. What I'm saying is the service hasn't been great. We missed a player who can unlock the back door like a Gaston Ramirez. But bring on Pompey. I know where you're coming from, Keith. If I was up front, I'd be looking and thinking, right, who's going to create a goal for me? I'd be looking at Nipan and it's like, he should be able to open a door for me and create a goal for me in a pass. He did it early doors when he came in the team. But I would be having a word with the wing backs and saying, listen, I need better service for you lads. You know, what as a unit and as a team, defensively, we've been sound. That's why we're level best defence in the league. And that's great. That is brilliant. But it's the other way that you win games and you have to create chances. And because we play wing backs in the main, they have to be the main line of supply. And at the minute, they're not really they're not getting enough balls in the box of quality. Sorry, getting balls in the box. You need them of quality. And you need to, as I say, you need to put a name on them. And you can't just hoof them in the air. We ain't got Peter Crouch out there. They need to be a certain style, certain height. Whipped-in. The whipped-in ball's the best in the business. Because if you don't put it in the opponent, if he's facing his own goal, he's likely to put it in the back of his own net. Stuart Gurley says, pity we can't be said for the offsides, Bernie. One would have been nice. Just kidding. Offside. Do you know what, Stuart? I looked last night. I was sitting with John Henry and Co, and I went, Henry said something about offside, and I went, do you know what? I still don't get this offside lap. I don't think anybody understands the rules now. Scott says, game of two halves, that old cliche, but true. Without a doubt. I had a few people saying that last night. I'd already thought of it. It was a game of two halves. It is an old cliche, but it was true last night. We played well first half. I think they shaded it. Well, their second half was probably better than our first half. Our first half wasn't bad. It was quite good. But I thought it was a good game. It was a good advert for Championship football. Both teams were at it. Few challenges, few moans and groans, few dives, few shots in target. It was certainly better than the Southampton game. Southampton game, we never did any real shots or chances. It was frustrating Saturday. But again, we grabbed a point. If we can grab a point most away games and we win all our home games, we're not going to be far away, are we? So we just have to keep that home form. Keep the home form, fortress. Nobody goes away with anything. Well, they got a point last night, but they don't walk away with 3 points. Keep that going. Keep getting points away. We're way up there. Liam says, Conway deserved a penalty. What was your take on it? Well, I've discussed it throughout, Liam. I never seen it again, so I can't comment. I'd only be lying. On the moment, I thought it was a penalty. Then I looked to see who went down, and I thought, Conway, he's got it in him to dive when he's not been touched. I've mentioned it throughout this. So maybe the referee thinks like me and thinks, nah, he's probably dived, knowing him. I only got half a glimpse, and yeah, he's a diver. So it might be that. I remember Franny Lee. Well, I was younger then, but Franny Lee's name went all around Britain. He was a diver at Man City. Franny Lee, look him up. Dive every opportunity. Then Ronaldo came to this country. Ronaldo was classed as a diver, a cheat, whatever. I always believe centre forwards, if you've got a chance of getting a shot off, if you got a chance of diving or getting a shot off, you must get the shot off. Look, I'll be honest, if it was in my heyday, and I never done it, by the way, but I thought I was ever in that position. But if I was in that position where we're playing Newcastle United or Sunderland, derby game, last game of the season, it's 0-0 and there's the seconds are running away and we need to win, and I get by the defender and I can't get a shot off for whatever reason, too tight an angle, whatever, and the lads came at me, would I dive? Yes, I would. I'm being honest. People call it cheating. I call it gamesmanship. I'm not saying do it every week and every month and every year. One off. This is opportunity. Time's running away. Would I do it? Yeah. And I call it gamesmanship. I reflect and look at Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry, marvellous player, fantastic at the Arsenal, international player. He used his hand against the Republic of Ireland and stopped the Republic of Ireland going to the World Cup finals. I'm sure that goal. And I watched it live, and I remember thinking, yeah, bastard, you've hit it with your hand. But then I thought, yeah, that's what you do. Ball comes in, you're trying to get there with any part of your anatomy, whether it's the old whatever, backside, ear, anything. And if you're going with every part of your body and you can't get there, you put out your hand, expecting a referee back then to say, well, you used your hand, but he never seen it and he got away with it. And there was another one. What was the other one? Obviously, there was Maradona, one hand of God. Well, if Maradona's jumping up there and he knows that shouting bigger with his hand up in the air, he's going to do that. Well, he did do that. The hand of God, whatever it was called at the time. But it's instinct. And he's probably thinking, well, the referee's going to disallow it. And lo and behold, he doesn't referee it. It doesn't cancel it. He lets it go. So there's two occasions, but there was a third. I can't think. There was a third one, the hand. But it's part of your instinct as a player, as a predator, as somebody that wants to get that ball in the net by hook or by crook, where you need to kill something. I don't mean kill them, but you know what I mean. You do anything to get in there, get your granny out of the way to get that ball in the net. It's up to the referee to spot it. And if it doesn't, you're going to take it. Anyway, that's a rant over about that. So Comedy says penalty. Tom, don't take anything away from Stoke. Good manager, good team. Yeah, their coach is a good coach. I say he was in charge of Coventry when they beat us in the playoffs. Yeah, he's. Don't forget he played football as well. Played for Man United, centre forward. Leo says referee was poor throughout the game. We've heard that throughout this live. Daniel says, as a Stoke City fan, I was delighted with the point. Second half, we could have won it. Well, I think we've said that. We're being honest as well. We were a better team. First half, Stoke were the better team. Second half. Stuart Gooley says, the ref was at the wrong angle to see the tackle, Bernie. But the lino was no help either. But it was a pen. So I'll bow to your superior knowledge, Stuart. We need to start scoring several chances went a begging last night. That's for Greg. Rob says someone should introduce Strelic and Conway to each other. Well, this is the thing. It's not going to happen overnight. Strelic's come in late. Conway's been there for over a year, but Strelic's come in before the window closes. He's not had a lot of time to settle and work up a partnership. Is that going to be the partnership? I don't know. There's other players waiting in the wings, wanting in that team. Senny. Senny's done well when he's come off the bench. He looked sharp. He looked fairly quick. So obviously that's down to Rob Edwards. Someone said, yeah. So a wee bit of sarcasm there, Rob. They've not had a lot of time to work at it. It's not as if they did the whole summer pre-season. Celtic's just walked in the door. When I looked at him first game, slapping his face, slapping his chest, and slapping his legs, and I thought he's going to be a real handful. He's strong as an ox, but I've not really seen that yet. Gary says they're putting in a performance, Bernie, and that's all we can ask. I just hope we can start selling out at the Riverside. I know we're selling out away, but the Riverside will become a hotbed. Yeah, disappointing last night. That I thought there'd be a greater atmosphere, top of the league class against Stoke City. There was I expected more last night. I mean, it's totally up to the fans whether they go or not. But yeah, I thought there'd been more. There was quite a good atmosphere, but I thought there could have been a greater atmosphere in such a big game. Where are we? Sobrin, top. I've read that. Someone, yeah, I've read that. Keep them coming. What's the time? Yeah. Yeah, we're nearly 10 minutes. Stoke's second half performance was greater than Borough's first half performance. That's for Kevin. Yeah, I think we've stressed that throughout this. I think people would agree with that. Colin says, man of the match, Saul Bryn, all day long. What was yours, Bernie? Saul Bryn. As I say, big shot. When you analyse Saul's career at Middlesbrough, he's a Borough lad. He's watched some poor. He was shipped out on loans several times. He's been at the club for a number of years. He's been shipped out here, there, and everywhere. Scotland, down south, whatever. And he's done well by all accounts. I think he won Player of the Year at one of the teams. But we were bringing guys in like Lumley and Glover and others. I can't even remember their names. And he just was getting shipped out, not even looked at. No scrutiny, no spotlight on him. And now he's come in and he's looking the business. I mean, I spoke to somebody tonight and they're saying, by the way, Saul Bryn, how good is he, Bernie? This guy went, I'll tell you what, he'll be an international player before you know it. He'll be an international goalkeeper in years to come. He might be. He's got a great height, great physique. He gets the ball at the highest points. Yeah, there's a couple of times he spills it. Last night he spilled one. Could have been costly. Saturday he spilled one, but he's saved 3 or 4 or even 5. So Saul Bryn, I think, did fantastically well. And I got a great buzz out of local lads, born and bred in the borough, doing the business for the hometown club. If they kiss the badge, I believe them. If the mercenaries come in, sign a year contract or 2, kiss the badge, I don't believe them. Mikey says, what do you think of Conway's theatrics? Mentioned it throughout, getting boring now and repetitive, Mikey. Robert says, I thought Silvera, Hackney, Morris were average or below. Yeah, I thought Silvera, I say, pre-season, some people are having him on a pedestal saying he's the man, he's going to be brilliant. He's not done it. He's not on the team. And when he came off the bench last night, he wasn't wing back. He was a full back. Ailing tucked in one. No, the winger must have looked at him and thought, I can take him on. He can't tackle. Silvera can't tackle. He knows where to go and he can get back because he's got a lot of pace. But when he's back, he doesn't know how to tackle. David Seaman, not the goalkeeper, I don't think. I felt like we had a good go in the first half, but the second half felt like we just didn't want to lose the undefeated run. Would that be a factor the longer we go unbeaten? Well, you don't want to get... Look, they were the better team. The coach would have seen that. Big Rob Edwards would have seen that with his coaches and thought, you know what? Let's just stifle it. Let's kill it. They're on top. We'll put all the subs on. Let's just kill it. And that's what more or less we did. We put Dale Fry on, went to 3 centre-backs and just clogged it up and tried to frustrate them and make sure they didn't score a goal. And they didn't. So we achieved what we wanted to end with. I'm sure we went out at the very start wanting to win the game because we've been in such great form. Nobody to fear. But the second half, I honestly thought they had a man over. That's how good they were. I didn't think they had it in them. The first half, we were the better team. I thought they're average, although they're up there. But then they really turned it round second half. Dan Graham says, evening, Bernie. First time in the Middlehaven suite last night. Good bit of banter with John Henry and Big Jeff Winter. Great experience. Just wish it was a Borough win. We were sat next to Lenny Lawns. Thought we were off the pace second half up the Borough. Why, quite a trio in there. Hendy, Big Jeff and Lenny. Wow. I'm glad I wasn't in there. No, I'm only joking. No, actually, a couple of pals there and Lenny. Yeah, I respect Lenny. Old hat. Let things go with the past. Gone. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. The old Middlehaven suite. Well done. Where are we here? I thought so. Yeah, I mentioned that. Matt Robbins, good record against the Borough. That's it, Ali. Yeah, I think I mentioned that earlier. He's good we manager him, yeah. I think it was half done by Coventry. I think they done. Did they do us? I think it was a right few, wasn't it? And then the next week he went somewhere and then ended up getting a sack. I don't know if he opened his mouth or whatever. Remember, coaches aren't allowed to say anything detrimental against the top boys or they get the tin sack. Look at your man Big Uno doing it at Forest. Has a go at the owner, don't get on with him, da. Marching orders. It wasn't long at a job like. Where are we? We looked at ideas, this would be Chris. We looked at ideas against Stoke, especially in the second half. I don't know if his ideas are just run out of steam. And some of the old habits crept in, just keeping the ball, retention of the ball without really going anywhere or hurting them. But as I say, people saying, oh, our legs looked heavy. We should not. With a 28-man squad, 30 squad, whatever it is, we should not feel fatigued or tired 8 games into a season. We used to play, I told you when I played, some of our players played 4 seasons, 3 seasons at least, without missing a game. That sometimes was 50, 60 games a season. Never missed a game, played every game, never any excuses. But the modern player should, with all the cotton wool they're wrapped up in, should be able to play 8 games without feeling fatigued or tired or whatever. Injuries are a different thing. Enjoyed this chat tonight. Good night from Romania up the Borough. Graham McTiernan always gets in touch, Graham. I appreciate it. From Romania. Every time he comes on, I always say, have you seen Hadji? Hadji's my favourite Romanian player. Hadji. And talking about Hadji, his son was at Rangers. Is he still at Rangers? I'm sure that's his son. Hadji was some player. Stoke second half was greater than the Borough. Sorry, I'll read these out. We're nearly there. As a spectator, I enjoyed the game. Did you, Bernie? Adam? Yeah, as a spectator, I did. I thought both teams were at it. There was a few challenges, few chances, few dives. It was a mixture throughout. And yeah, I thought it was good. Joe said, Bernie, I was in the Legends Lounge last night. I enjoyed the two brothers. It was at MMS. Yeah. Hardwick. One of them's called George Hardwick. You can get them on YouTube, and the fit lads, really fit, pure dedicated lads. One's 31, one's about 27. One's moved up. But yeah, good listening to them. They were funny guys as well. Despite Borough's unbeaten, I was surprised a few moans and groans half-time and full-time for Colin. With Colin, probably the previous contributors have been right and correct. I'd probably bow to that I think they were having a go at the referee, because obviously a lot of people says the referee did an off night. They've obviously showed their frustration and venting their spleen, which they're entitled to do. I wouldn't go overboard with it because we didn't really perform second half. Gerald says, fair result last night. Referee spoiled it to a degree. Stephen says neither team good enough for Premier League. Look, it says that about Sunderland and Cogan up. Sunderland Leeds. Look at Sunderland. Are they in the top 6, Sunderland? Or is my telly I think I'm seeing the league wrong? Are they 6? Sunderland, Premier League. By the way, I still think Sunderland will come down. But maybe proved wrong. I never thought they'd beat Sheffield United in the playoff final. 55 5 minutes. I'm just getting the old call 5 minutes. Fair result last night, but the referee for me spoiled it. That's for Gerald. Stephen says neither team good enough for the Premier League. I mentioned that. Sorry. Ross says worrying that no one can score. Well, we can score. We've still scored a few goals. And we've got a tight defence. The spine of the team, we've got a goalkeeper on tack now. Centre halves is disruptive because every 2 games as a defender goes missing, so that's disruptive. Or with the 3 central midfield in the main, it's Hackney and Morris, so that's good. And right up the middle, the other spine is usually Conway and Strelick. Now, we can get them sorted and in form regular, then we can branch out. I still think, as I say, service right and left could be an issue. And if I was an opposing coach, manager, watching Middlesbrough, I'd say they don't do a lot up the flanks. Make sure they just keep them under wraps. They don't do enough. And if they do get it in the box, centre half should be able to deal with it because of no height and no aggression. Anyway, enjoyed this chat tonight. You guys, it's been a great show tonight, Bernie. I wish the Borough the best question. Did the bus ever break down on the way to a game? Good question, that. Yes, I think the bus did break down going to a game, but I remember one journey, it was down south, and I think the window I think somebody put a brick through the window. And no, that was on the way back, and it was in the winter, and it was the old buses, no today fancy buses with microwave ovens and flat screens and all that. It was none of that. It was just an old bus with old curtains on it, some granny's curtains on the bus, and somebody put a brick through as we left the stadium. Can't remember what stadium I'd be lying. And it was Baltic, 4-hour trip back, Baltic. The other time, the bus was delayed. We're stuck in heavy traffic, might have been London. Bruce Rafe's the manager, and Bruce went, right, we're late, get changed, get stripped now, while we're on the bus, while we're stuck in traffic, we'll get there, we'll have enough time to get there and do a warm-up. That is about it. We're just going to make the game. So we've no room for the team chat in the dressing room and getting rubs and whatever. Get ready in the bus. And another thing, we do not want you making this an excuse. You go and you do the business. This is not an excuse. Nobody needs to know about this. So don't be making an excuse. If you're backing, that's my dogs in the background. They're young pups. And if you see my nose, which is a fair old snout, scratches everywhere I've got. So anybody know how to stop the dogs scratching, biting, and pulling my chest hair? Get in touch. Listen, we've got a minute. So Middlesbrough, thanks for joining us. The big game's on tonight. I'm thinking the Barcelona game might grab me tonight. Is it PSG? I think that's one I'm going to watch. So there's big games tonight in the telly, but we've got a big game Saturday. We're looking to keep a fantastic unbeaten run going against Portsmouth. There's nothing to fear, Portsmouth. So let's hope we can do the business. Again, apologies for hearing the 2 dogs barking in the background. Double glazed windows all around the house and doors everywhere, but everywhere's opening. So thanks for joining us. Good luck to Borough on Saturday. And if you're joining, I'll be doing the Facebook, YouTube live, 5 o'clock, between 5 and 6, 3 o'clock kickoff, isn't it? Between 5 and 6, I'll do the live. So please join us. Thanks for joining me now. Up the Borough. Cheers.